Missed an episode of your favorite podcast? Choose from over a decade of content in our archives, not just the latest episode. All free at gcnlive.com.
This is your call to action. Get prepared, America. Economy, survival, energy, disasters. This is USAPrepares.com. Informative radio, educational radio. Interact now by emailing instructor@USAPrepares.com or text at 434-390-7953. Class, please take your seats. Now, your instructor, Vincent Finelli.
Everyone all set? Cocked? Locked? Blissed? Hey, Dr. Shealy, are you blissed?
My usual sign. Have you ever seen me not blissed?
Dr. Shealy, we had some guests at the farm on Monday, and we were talking about all kinds of things. And I guess it's probably not so much fun for some people when they come to the farm because they get to hear about things that maybe they'd rather not hear about. And we talked about anger. One woman mentioned that she's quick to get angry. And it's not like we had anger in the farmhouse. That's not the point. The point is that she was talking about, in her life, she's quick to get angry. And I said, really? And I told a story about Dr. Shealy, and how on air you mentioned that there was a patient that you had who harbored some really serious anger. And that anger, was, making the cancer that this woman had so much worse, and she flat out was going to die from it. And you recommended that she get rid of this anger or die. And if I'm saying that incorrectly, please correct me. But and I said that so this woman needed to do what she needed to do to get rid of her anger. And so we shared some bliss with her. And, she thought that right there in the kitchen, we shared some bliss, and I put it on her and I told her what it does for me. And she's very interested in getting rid of this anger problem. So what can a person do, Dr. Shealy, if they harbor anger or they have a short fuse? Well, by the way, I asked her, I said, do you have high blood pressure? And she said, yes.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
Number one cause of hypertension.
Yeah. So what do we do?
Anger is a person who feels threatened. In other words, something happened somewhere in life which made her feel as if she was being attacked. And whatever it was, it's obviously long gone, but she still carries the normal response to a threat. And it's okay to be angry for a couple of seconds or minutes maybe. But if you don't do something about it, then all it does is harm you. And it can carry on for as long as you live and shorten how long you live. You can't afford the luxury of anger. Now, it is important, if somebody is threatening you, to react, to be prepared, to defend yourself if possible and necessary. But other than that, there's no value whatsoever in being angry when something is past. Is a total waste of energy, and the number one cause of premature death from heart disease of all kinds. That was shown years ago by Hans Eysenck, Eysenck, a German physician who actually practiced in England for most of his life, who demonstrated that 75% of people who died of heart disease had lifelong unresolved anger.
I get emails from, I get a lot of emails, way too many emails. It's well over 500 a day now. It's more than I can pay attention to. And some of them, I guess I should let our class know that some of them slip through the cracks. But I can tell that with some of these emails that I get copied on them, and they're about political things and things going wrong with the country, and obviously statements that politicians have made that go against our team. And I can see the anger in the words and how the sentences are formed of some of these emails. And I'm thinking, wow, there are a lot of people that are really, really angry. Now, yeah, I agree with you. There are things to get angry about, but I think there's a lot of anger. There's something else I've noticed, Dr. Shealy. I've had a chance to meet a lot of people in a short amount of time over the last several weeks. And during the discussion, I kind of raised the topic about, what do you think about the direction the country's going in? Dr. Shealy, I have not met a single person in the last several weeks who thinks that things are going along just fine. Not one person. And I was wondering, are you finding the same thing in your travels? That people are really concerned, but they don't know what to do about it, and it leads to more stress than they've had before?
Oh, yeah, no question about it. I mean, let's face it, Vince. The world is in chaos. And in my opinion, it has been increasing in chaos for about 10 years. Mm-hmm. You can feel it. There's just a feeling in the air. And you need to spend a little time every day detaching from those things you can't change. I mean, I can't change the eruption of a volcano. And basically, that's what happened. That is what is happening, not just literally with the 10th volcano erupting within the last few years recently, and a volcano like waiting to eruption, social, economic, political situation around the world. There's no question about it. The question is, what can we do about it? Well, be prepared.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that that's one of the reasons why so many people pay attention to ball games? They dislike what they do during the week. Let's say they have a job in front of customers, and customer after customer. It's just a conveyor belt of customers, and some customers are unhappy and beat up, the person, the employee, let's say, and they just hate what they do, and they go home and turn on the TV and just try to detach. Do you think that that's part of the reason why so many people are glued to that blue screen TV?
Oh yeah, it's the modern replica of the old lion in the arena business from the Roman Empire, distracting the masses.
Yeah. I met a lovely young lady last night. I was out towards St. Louis with our son, and I wanted to buy a piece of machinery for our farm. And it worked out that I could race out to St. Louis from the farm, and he could help me. And it was a pretty heavy piece of gear, so I needed some help loading it in the truck. And he offered to come with me, so we went out there. And I met this family, actually a couple families. And there's a young lady there who is studying to become a pharmacist. And I said, oh, a drug dealer. And she kind of, I think she was a little taken aback by my comment. And so we started talking about fluoride. And she said, oh, yeah, that it's for healthy teeth. And I said, no, exactly the opposite. And I said, I'll tell you what I'll do. I will, if you'd like to call in today, we'd love to hear you. Or you can listen. Or you can look up fluoride, poison. And so I said, let me ask Dr. Shealy about this tomorrow. What your thoughts on fluoride are. And, you and I have been talking about this for years, and the dangers of fluoride. So for her benefit as a pharmacist to be, I think we need to set her on the path of investigating for herself what some of these drugs do. So can you tell our class today about fluoride?
Well, fluoride is a metabolic poison. Statistically speaking, chemically, biochemically, etc., there is no need for fluoride. It is a poison to the system, period. Interestingly, my professor of organic chemistry in college, and we're talking about now 1950 maybe, was practically blind from having worked with fluoride in the lab. It had damaged even his eyes severely. And, fluoride it's just a poison. Any way you look at it, it is a metabolic poison. It damages the brain. It damages the bones. It makes for weaker bones. One of the reasons there's a lot of osteoporosis today is actually fluoride interfering so much with total metabolism, but especially, among other things, the bones.
Okay. How about the relationship between fluoride and weight gain?
Oh, yeah. Well, when you poison the metabolism of the body, one of the things that happens is it gets lazy. And so you gain weight. I mean, that's what I call a lazy metabolism. Poisoned.
I was thinking about some of these canned foods, and where are some of these food manufacturing companies? And some of them are in cities. So, for example, Anheuser-Busch in St. Louis, and where do they get their water from? Well, probably the municipal water supply. And so, does that have fluoride in it? Yeah, probably. So now, if you have a beer, commercial beer, you probably have fluoride in the beer. If you have green beans that come out of a can, it's probably processed using municipal water, and so that probably has fluoride in it. And if you decide that you're going to take the risk and have canned corn, which is probably 85% GMO, there's some more fluoride there. And if you have a pizza, well, the water they use at the pizza joint, that has fluoride in it almost certainly. So even if you decide that you're going to drink just your own well water and you don't put fluoride in your well, because who would? You still got to have fluoride in the food supply that's all around us, right?
Yeah, it is. It's almost like Roundup in the air. So
I've been thinking about this, and I don't know of any literature that says, take fluoride because most people have a fluoride deficiency.
No, there's only a fluoride excess, never a deficiency. And any is an excess.
And Dr. Shealy, what about the relationship with IQ, intelligent quotient, and fluoride? Because I've read some materials that say that on average, you can reduce your IQ. Just consume fluoride. What do you think?
Your IQ, drink city water. That's simple.
Dr. Shealy's with us, and we're going to be right back. When we come back, I'd like to ask Dr. Shealy his thoughts on air pollution and IQ, because there's a post on our website that talks about lowering your IQ. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her banks simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the term?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as one business day, and they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at ondecklending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval. Many experts are predicting that food prices will surge this year due to the severe drought in California. 30dayfoodsupply.com has pre-purchased a large supply of ingredients so we can continue to sell our 30-day food supply for only $99, and there's no limit to the number of boxes you can purchase. Our vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then pass the savings on to you. Call 800-700-2184. And remember, only $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Visit the website 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 800-700-2184. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com at 800-700-2184. 800-700-2184 for 30dayfoodsupply.com.
Quantitative easing, unemployment at depression levels, Europe financial system falling apart, China getting out of U.S. treasuries. At the end of 2008, the time of TARP, the national debt was at $11 trillion, gold trading around $850 per ounce. Close to 2012, the national debt exceeded $16.4 trillion, gold doubled to $1,600 per ounce. The $20 trillion threshold for the national debt is inevitable. Politicians in Washington have a ferocious appetite for spending and stimulus. What's worse, a printing press to finance. 100 years ago, we had a gold standard to limit this madness, but now you have to adopt your own gold standard. Don't be fooled with paper promises. Get Midas Resources 10 Reasons to Buy Gold free by calling 800-686-2237. Understanding the gold and silver market may be the only insurance you could have to avoiding the next economic crisis. Call 1-800-686-2237 and order your free copy. Again, that's 800-686-2237.
Plus, I've got a short announcement. This weekend in Mountain Home, Arkansas, there's a preparedness and survival expo. It's called the Preppers and Patriots Expo. It's at the Baxter County Fairgrounds, Mountain Home, Arkansas. I'll be there. And I'll be there on Saturday, and I'm going to be presenting a seminar. It's absolutely free. I'd love to meet you. And the seminar is about starting your own business. I'll teach you how to start your own business and take the same tax deductions that the rich take. Seriously. Now, if you tell yourself in your own mind, yep, I'm going to start my business right now. I don't mean like tomorrow. I mean right this second. Then your travel expenses to the expo at 56.5 cents a mile. If you want to take the deduction, you can elect to do that. 56.5 cents a mile to and from the Preparedness Expo because it's an educational event for your business. And if you would like to have a meal there because you have to eat while you're there, that's a deduction as well. And if you decide that you've got to get a new pair of shoes and blue jeans and whatever else you want to wear and look good, well, that can be a deduction too because now you're in the business. Okay, you started a business, and the supplies that you buy, the products that you buy, the telephone expenses, the cell phone if you have one, the office, the electricity for the office. I'm going to teach you how all of those things can be deductions. Really. It's absolutely free. I'm going to be there all day. So if you want to ask me all the questions that you have, feel free to do so. Write them down before you come. And we'll go over it one-on-one with a small group. And we're even going to have a dinner, an ad hoc kind of a dinner where some of us broadcasters will be available and we'll go to a restaurant and, it'll be Dutch. We'll all pay for our own meals. And if you'd like to meet a few broadcasters, there'll be some of us there. I'll be there and I'll try to make myself available for dinner too. So there you have it, this weekend at the Baxter County Fairgrounds. That's the Preppers and Patriots Expo, Mountain Home, Arkansas. Dr. Shealy, air pollution. I was reading a story about air pollution in New York City. The air pollution is so great. There's so many particulates and so many chemicals in the air. And of course, there's electromagnetic radiation as well that the researchers are finding that IQs are being lowered. Makes sense to me. What do you think?
Unequivocal. Interesting. There was a interesting thing came out medically today the best and the worst places in the United States for the practice of medicine. And guess what? The number one bad place in the United States is for physicians, New York City.
Now, is it because
in general, Missouri is number 10 out of the 50 states in good.
Now, why is New York City a bad place to practice medicine? Because the number of people, the diseases that are concentrated there, what is the reason? Do we know?
Taxes, pollution, conflict, electromagnetic pollution, smog, crud. All over crud. It ranks number one in the crud city of the United States, and not quite in the world. Beijing is the worst in the world.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing that, a lot of people think New York City is just a great place to live. When I graduated college, I had an interview with an investment banking company. And I went for the interview. And at 4:00, it started getting dark. 4:30, it's really getting dark because the buildings shield the sunlight from the street below. And I just didn't like it. I felt really uncomfortable, and there was no amount of money that I could be compensated to make me want to be employed in New York City. And I met a young lady. I was being trained by International Business Machines at the time. And I met this young lady, and, I lived in the country. I'd had to take a long drive to get to New York City. And then I had to take, the trains and subway and stuff. Well, we talked about where we lived, and she told me that she thought that, living in the country was really, really dangerous. I mean, how could you live in the country? There's nobody there to protect you. And I said, well, do you have a lock on your door? She said, I've like 4 or 5. And I said, well, we don't have to do that. This was in the 70s. So there you have, they have a difference of opinion, and she thinks it's normal. Traffic is normal. Elevators are normal. Pollution's normal. Horns honking's normal. Sirens wailing, normal. We don't have that stuff here. How many of you want to learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food? Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP, electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you could just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her bank simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as one business day, and they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendovite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years, and Extendovite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendovite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendovite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Dr. Shealy's with us. And if you'd like to get the same newsletter that I get multiple times per week, that can prompt you into improving your health and teaching about things you should and should not do. It's absolutely free. Absolutely. NormShealy.com. 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 And you can sign up for his free newsletter and get the same one that I get multiple times per week. Dr. Shealy, we're talking about air pollution, and so many parents are interested in improving what happens in the school where their children are. And I'm thinking if a polluted environment, just plain old air pollution, is lowering our IQs of our children by 5%. It seems like the simplest and easiest thing to do to improve your child's intelligence quotient is to move out of that environment. Just move. Move to the country. Right?
I agree. I mean, but the stress level at all levels, chemically, physically, emotionally, everything in a city is, I wouldn't even want to live in little old Pleasant Hope of 614.
Yeah. Well, I live in a little hamlet. Of course, you've been here, Dr. Shealy, and I've been to your farm. We live in the middle of nowhere, and it's kind of nice. It really is. No trains, no train tracks, no thumping of the train cars, no tractor trailers, thumping down the road, and the whine of their turbochargers and the the howl of the tires against the hard pavement. We don't have that. And, I was thinking about just being in a car, just traveling, back and forth to work. All the exhaust that you eat of those vehicles in front of you. If you're going north, the ones that have already been north. If you're on a multiple lane highway, there's north and south and east and west, and all those particulates are in the air. And since we've had catalytic converters installed on our gasoline powered vehicles, they've driven the size of the particles smaller. So what used to happen before catalytic converters, the particles that came out of the exhaust were heavier and they would fall down, within hours. Now they stay afloat, airborne, for weeks and months. And we're just inhaling them, breath after breath after breath. And you wonder, is this why so many people are on inhalers? Is that, if you go to a high school, after school, you'll see the students getting ready to participate in after school sports. Out come the inhalers. They use these rescue inhalers so they can run. They use them again after they've run. Is that what's going on? Do you think it's the air pollution, or do you think it's more than air pollution, like air pollution, magnetic radiation, the foods that we're consuming? What's causing the shortness of breath? Oh, and let's add to that, the reduction in the percentage of oxygen in the cities. Do you think it's all of that, Dr. Shealy?
Oh, yeah. Everything is important. Everything.
Do you have a solution that we can start applying?
Live in the country. On the other hand, Vince, I wonder if all 300 million people in the United States abandoned the cities, we'd be fighting over land.
Well, I agree with that. I agree because I
haven't looked up recently how many acres there are in the United States. And I suppose it would be possible to, live on 1 or 5 acre plots. But, I want to live isolated enough that I don't have to worry about a neighbor.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I wouldn't want to live next to a neighbor or within a mile, preferably longer, of a neighbor who's using poisons on his or her land either.
Right. And ignorance is really expensive, Dr. Shealy, because there are people who will just pollute with recklessness. And I'll give you an example. I know a farmer who lives really close to us. And actually, I don't like this guy. And the reason I don't like him, I hardly ever see him, but I don't like him because of what he does. For example, he will take his newborn calves and he'll pen them up, after they've, them and their mama cows, and he'll pen them up where they're very close to water. As a matter of fact, he'll put a pen on top of a stream. So they have plenty of water, and they pee and poop in the water. And where is that? That's right on the property line. So the next guy that gets the next drop of water is his neighbor. So right on the property line, running downhill at the bottom of his property is where he has this pen. So he is polluting his neighbor's water. I don't like that. I really don't like that. It's he doesn't have to do that. He doesn't have to put them there. He's got cattle waterers everywhere on his farm, but he chooses to put them where he's polluting his neighbor's water. So there are some farmers who just are careless and reckless and don't show concern for the neighbors. And that's unacceptable. And, I guess it's my fault that I haven't gone over there and just stood there until he came over and say, hey, you know what? Why are you doing this? Do you realize that you're polluting the water for your neighbors? You don't have to do this. How about if I help you show you another way to do it? I guess it's my fault that I haven't gone over there. But it's his fault too for doing it. And obviously he knows what he's doing. He's, maybe 70 years old. So I think we need to pay attention to what we do, the actions of what we do, and how they impact others. And I, like you, don't have neighbors nearby. Our nearest neighbor's probably a mile away or darn close to it. And it's really nice. If we need our neighbors, they're there for us, and we're there for them. But we're not in each other's way. And I certainly don't do what some farmers do, and not just farmers, but, people will change the oil in their vehicles, and, while they may not have a catch pan for the old used motor oil. So they just let it run down the street or on their farm property, and they pollute the water. I mean, 1 quart of oil can pollute an entire pond easily, damage an entire pond. It could take years to fix that. So we're kind of careless, we're kind of reckless, and we need to stop. And that's why education is so valuable. And we need to start teaching children these things. But I don't know how to solve it other than run for school board office. And I recommend to all of our students in class today, if you're a parent and you have a child in school, why don't you run for school board office and see what they're doing? Or if the election's not today, why don't you go to your public school and show up at the front office there and say, "Hi, I'm all excited. I'm here to learn all the wonderful things that are happening in school today. I'd like to walk around. I'd like to sit in on some classes. I'd like to have lunch here. I'd like to spend some time after school and see how the sports programs are working. Is today a good day?" And then walk around and see what's happening in school. And you might not like it. And then that might drive you to spend some time in the principal's office and say, here's what I don't like. And by the way, I'm paying for this. So here's what I don't like, and I'd like this fixed. Can you fix this? Or do I have to run for the school board office? And then I'll fix it by firing you. I mean, we really need to start participating in the lives of our children. I mean, they are our children. Dr. Shealy, what do you think?
Well, obviously, it starts at the top. And first of all, we should fire the Secretary of Energy, but I think we should fire most federal officers, so that's just a small part of it. There was a wonderful article today showing the salaries of presidents of major universities. I mean, $100+ million a year for many. I mean, what? No wonder higher education costs so much today. What person is worth $100 million a year for anything?
I can't think of anyone. I really can't. I had trouble with $600,000 for the CEO of the Red Cross.
Right.
And that's not $1 million yet. I mean, I had trouble with that. You're right. Salaries are out of control. I remember reading about the CEO of Disney many years ago was making about $81 million a year. $81 million a year.
Almost
and
as bad as the Clintons.
Yeah, that's another story. The Clintons have been hiding money and passing through these organizations that they've formed. WJC is the organization that William Jefferson Clinton formed that he's passing money through. So if you don't think the Clintons, oh, by the way, they don't have any products. They don't have any employees, and they've got millions and millions in this organization. Dr. Shealy, I was talking with this young lady who is studying to become a pharmacist, and I mentioned statin drugs, and I believe she thinks they're good. So I said, well, we'll fix that.
Well, now we'll talk about IQ. She's got an IQ of 80 or below already, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, we're opening her eyes. She's been programmed, Dr. Shealy. She's been programmed by the system. So she thinks that, statin, she's becoming a licensed drug dealer, literally. Mm-hmm. She wants to be a pharmacist, and they're saying, okay, statins do this. These are good, and this is why they're prescribed. And she's learning about this, and so we need to tell her the real story. Can you share with her your thoughts on statin drugs?
Yeah, my thought is it's poison, and you couldn't pay me $1 trillion to take a single statin drug pill.
Yeah, that's what I told her last night. That's what I said. I said, Dr. Shealy used to say it was $1 billion, but now it's $1 trillion. So, Dr. Shealy, I mentioned that there is a correlation with statin drugs and ED, erectile dysfunction.
Oh, yeah.
And she was kind of surprised when I said that. Can we can we clarify that when we come back? Dr. Norm Shealy is with us. I'm Vin Finelli. This is USAPrepares.com. NormShealy.com if you want his free newsletter. Well, by now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason!
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. All over America, people are suffering from issues related to angina pain, high blood pressure, congestive heart failure, irregular heartbeat, clogged arteries, and high cholesterol. Can you live your life free from sickness, pain, and fear, and experience your body healing itself? Look to Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural supplement that aids ailing bodies. It has an exclusive formula of wild-crafted and organic herbs. End the pain without all the side effects of prescription drugs. People 20 years younger will envy your vitality. Want a happier, healthier you? Then go to heartandbody.com or call toll-free 866-295-5305 for free information. Heart and Body Extract offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. What are you waiting for? Call Heart and Body now at 866-295-5305 for your free information. Go to heartandbody.com, 866-295-5305. Distributor inquiries welcome.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her banks simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as one business day, and they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP. Electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Class, Dr. Shealy's with us, and we're talking about statin drugs, and I mentioned that I met this young lady who is becoming, wants to become a pharmacist, so she's studying, and I thought it'd be interesting to have Dr. Shealy explain his opinion on statin drugs and what the risks are, and would he take them? And he said he wouldn't take a statin drug for $1 trillion. Now, it used to be a billion, but with inflation, it's up to $1 trillion. So, Dr. Shealy, what's the problem with statin drugs? What are the complications?
They poison every cell in your body. Maybe almost as bad as Roundup. They actually poison the cell because they totally deplete you, among other things, of CoQ10. Now, the bank blacks who created this knew this long ago, and if they had promoted taking significant amounts of CoQ10 with the statin drugs, it would reduce the risk. But to me, you shouldn't have to increase normal, antioxidants just in order to take a stupid drug.
Mm-hmm.
And interestingly, my friend David Brownstein, an excellent, wonderful holistic physician from Michigan, wrote a recent book, The Statin Disaster. And he points out quite well in there that if you really take all the statistics that have been lied in the medical literature, statins might have a 1% benefit, but they have a 99% risk of causing damage to your brain, your muscles, your heart muscles, your nerves, your pancreas, your liver, your kidneys. It's toxic.
Well, wait a minute, Dr. Shealy. Don't statin drugs improve erectile dysfunction?
No.
No, not erectile function, erectile dysfunction.
They improve erectile dysfunction, yes. Yeah, but they're only one of a dozen or more drugs that create erectile dysfunction. Most antidepressant drugs do. Most antihypertensive drugs do. Most anti-anxiety drugs do. But other than that,
So, Dr. Shealy, seriously now, if a group of individuals wanted to reduce the population of the planet, save some of the oxygen from being burned up as heat and for the propelling of automobiles and trucks, if they wanted to reduce the population, wouldn't the prescribing of statin drugs kind of help, since it has one of the benefits of causing erectile dysfunction?
Well, yeah, it's kind of hard to reproduce without erectile function.
Yeah. So, and you mentioned other drugs. What are the other drugs that cause erectile dysfunction?
Well, virtually every antidepressant drug. Mm-hmm. You name a drug, the so-called reuptake, serotonin reuptake inhibitor things. Virtually every antihypertensive drug and all of the Valium and anti-anxiety drugs. I mean, other than that, that's the majority of the drugs sold in the world, period.
Well, it really seems like this is an organized plot to reduce population to me. I mean, why would somebody want to take an antidepressant rather than find out what the problem is and then fix the problem, rather than mask the problem with a drug?
Well, because they've been brainwashed by the pharmacomafia. But interestingly, there are 4 major articles published, one in New England Journal of Medicine, stating that if the pharmacomafia had allowed all the negative results. We'll talk about this afterwards.
Yeah, let's talk about the studies. And so we're talking about, is this statin we're going to talk about, or is this a bunch of antidepressant drugs?
All of the above.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Shealy is going to tell us about some studies and what would have happened if the findings were published. We'll be right back. I'm Vin Finelli. This is USAprepares.com. Norm Shealy is with us, medical doctor, brain surgeon, surgeon of the year, author, broadcaster, farmer, Native American medicine man, and my friend.
KDArmor.com is your one-stop shop for the most affordable body armor, period. With packages starting at $169.99 and free shipping on every order. KD offers soft armor and rifle threat rated armor up to level 4. Go to KDArmor.com and get your body armor today while you still can. Mention this ad and receive a free tactical scarf for a limited time with any body armor package. That's CATIarmor.com. Come and take it.
If you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS or state in back taxes, you know they'll never stop coming after you. With bank levies, wage garnishments, they'll even seize your home or business. The good news? A government program for tax debt forgiveness. It's called the Fresh Start Initiative.
I'm Paul Sibley with U.S. Tax Shield. We can help navigate the new laws, get you protected, and resolve your tax issues permanently.
Call the experts at U.S. Tax Shield now for your free consultation and get a guaranteed quote to resolve your case. Call 800-436-6451. That's 800-436-6451.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99 and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows, pause and rewind live TV, even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her bank simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as one business day. And they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender.
Everyone all set, cocked, locked, blissed. Hour number 2 of USAprepares.com. John is engineering the broadcast for this classroom today. John is the program director at Genesis Communications Network, and he engineers Alex Jones' broadcast right after ours. And it's delightful being with John today. Dr. Shealy was talking about studies and research regarding medicines that many of us have been prescribed. And Dr. Shealy, you were talking about what would have happened if the findings were published.
Well, the New England Journal of Medicine and 3 other major medical journals have published that if the pharmacomafia had, quote, allowed the publication of the negative outcome result with antidepressant drugs, the net result would be 0. In other words, 75% or more of the known scientific studies on antidepressants were blocked from publication by the pharmacomafia because they showed negative or no results. Now, that is lying up the gazoo. That is pure fraud. And the same is true for the statin drugs, the anti-anxiety drugs. In fact, I don't know a single drug that affects mood that is not more dangerous to your health than not taking it. Not one. They are among the most dangerous of all the drugs in the world. In fact, I believe the whole profession of psychiatry should be abolished. Period.
So, Dr. Shealy, if someone has anxiety, you absolutely think that they should not take anti-anxiety drugs. Is that correct?
You bet.
Okay. Just want to make sure that everyone understood exactly what you said. Now, if they are taking anti-anxiety drugs and they want to
don't stop them suddenly. You could have epileptic seizures.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real problem. Once you're on the junk, it's very difficult to get off it's almost as addicting as, narcotics, heroin, etc.
Okay. So is there a safe way to get off these drugs?
Well, it has to be done slowly, very slowly, while doing normal things. The best way is to use Air Bliss and the Fisher-Wallace cranial electrical stimulator. But it really ought to be done, with the guidance of a physician. On the other hand, of course, not more than 1% of physicians are competent in looking at these alternatives.
I was many years ago, I was prescribed a medication, and I told my medical doctor, I don't want to take this stuff. It's making me goofy. It's causing an irregular heartbeat. I don't want to take this. And I had two doctors at the time, and he said, well, stop taking it. I said, okay. Well, what about the other doctor? And so I talked with him, and he said, no. You have to keep taking it. And I said, or what? And he said, no, you just have to keep taking this. There's no stopping. And I said, well, I want to stop. And he said, no, you can't. And I said, or what? And he said, or you'll die. So here we have.
We've got you hooked. You're going to die if you take the drug, and you're going to die if you try to get off the drug.
That's exactly what happened. So I was in this box. So I'll tell you what I did, Dr. Shealy. I decided I was going to get off it. And so I bought 3 cases of really high fiber cereal. And I bought some psyllium powder. And I ate nothing but bran cereal, psyllium powder, and some oatmeal and water for 45 days.
Wow.
That's all I ate. Yeah.
You would have done better with hemp hearts, by the way.
Well, I didn't know about that. And I didn't know about you. I didn't know about you at that time. So what I literally, that's all I ate. High fiber. I mean, I was looking for maximum fiber. Well, I got off all that stuff and I felt great. So I was doing terribly on this medication, and I'm doing fine, in years. And, one doctor said, this was before I was on radio. One doctor said, you really are anxious. And I said, no, I'm not anxious. And he said, no, you have an anxiety problem. And I said, I don't even have a job. I said, I don't have a boss beating me up, telling me what to do, and then I'm late. I said, I'm a farmer, and I kind of do what I want when I want. I have my own clock. When I do what I want, when I want, and I don't have any stress. But, I think this medication is going to kill me. And he said, no, you have anxiety. And I said, well, if I have anxiety, it's because I'm going to die because of this medication. And so I decided to get off it against medical advice. Medical advice was, you're going to die if you get off it. And I thought, I'm going to die if I stay on it. So I'm here to tell you that, that high fiber diet and water. So what did I cut out? I cut out cheese. I cut out coffee. I cut out sugar, candy, potato chips. I mean, all the things that we'd love to eat, right? I cut out all that normal stuff that most people consume. I won't even call it food. And I can tell you this, that going to a fast food joint that sells products wrapped in paper that you can buy right over the counter very quickly because it's already ready, that stuff used to make me sick, literally. And when you and I started talking about that, we talked about, hey, what do you think about McDonald's, Dr. Shealy? He had a one-word response: poison. Well, now it's mainstream news. Years and years and years later, it's mainstream news that McDonald's wants to clean up their act and have healthy food. Can you imagine?
I'll believe that when hell freezes over.
Well, that's another question I have for you. And I was talking about this.
When is hell going to freeze over?
Well, that's another question. But the one I was thinking about is I was in the truck with our son last night, and he's a senior in college. And I talked about McDonald's. I said, Norm and I have been talking about McDonald's, and, McDonald's is really trying to clean up their act, and their sales are way down, and people have figured it out that we weren't kidding, and others who say the same things as we've been saying aren't kidding, and it really can damage your gut health and so forth. And now what? So it was a question about morals and ethics. And I said, so here you have a company for years absolutely was certain that they were destroying our health, increasing our weight, making us sick, with these products and chemicals, that they were selling. Now, if they decide to clean up their act, do we go back to McDonald's? Now, he and I were of a different opinion. I said, no, I'm not doing it. Even if they, totally do an about face, I'm not interested, because they knew for so many years that they've been committing these crimes against we the people. So what is your thought, Dr. Shealy, of this moral dilemma? Do we trust them again, or do we take a few decades to see if they actually honor their commitments to get rid of the chemicals?
It would take me a century to trust McDonald's or any of the fast food industry.
Yeah, I'm with you. I really am with you.
That's like saying Satan has reformed.
You're absolutely right, and that's another thing. So we have these corporate giants who are killing us slowly, and we're supporting them. And then we have these other criminals, like they're referred to as politicians, who are not coming to our defense to stop the crimes against humanity. And it's not just those of us in Missouri who are being made sick. It's worldwide. And China just reversed their opinion about genetically modified food. At first they said, no way, we're not doing it. Now they're saying, well, it's okay. Maybe they've realized that the one-child plan isn't working as well as they want it to, and they want to further reduce their population. Or maybe
the Chinese government is as evil as the entire evil empire that runs the world, the Committee of 300.
Mm-hmm.
They're all the same. They're crooks.
Mm-hmm. Well, speaking of crooks, Dr. Shealy, I was thinking about you, and I just happened to see an item on eBay. And I bought this thing, and it's in a wooden box, and it has some switches, and it looks like it was made between the late 1800s and the early 1900s, and it's called a faradic battery machine. So if you look up on some of the images of faradic, FARADIC battery machines, you can find them on Google Images, and there are a whole bunch of these devices, and they're grouped into a category called quack devices. So they were using back then the concept of electrical stimulation on the body, different parts of the body, to cure or allegedly cure certain diseases or abnormalities. And I was so fascinated because you are interested in this, well, in electrical technology and how it can affect the body, that I bought this device because I wanted to show you and see, you know, this was the early attempt at using electricity to help in medicine. And I don't know, they're grouped in a category of devices called quack devices. And the question is, were they really quack devices?
No.
Or not?
We're calling them quacks, or the quacks. Mm-hmm. These devices actually were often quite effective, and these were the precursors of something called the violet ray.
Yeah, so hold on to that thought, and let's talk about that when we come back. And I'm absolutely interested in your opinion on these devices. Dr. Shealy and I'll be right back. By now you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system, because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration system and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Hi, John Hubner from Midas Resources. Are you tired of watching your hard-earned assets dwindle away? As government spending is out of hand and the Federal Reserve is creating in excess of $20 billion a week, are you tired of stockbrokers gambling away your hard-earned money? Is this market a setup for a crash greater than 1980? Too many of today's policies resemble those that led to the collapse of 1929. This is John Hubner, and that was me in 2007. And we all know what happened when the subprime credit bubble burst. By March 2009, the dollar lost 50% of its value. The entire U.S. banking system was on the verge of collapsing. Like all financial problems of the past, is history about to repeat itself? Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129, before it's too late to protect yourself. Will the oncoming catastrophe take all private IRAs, 401ks with it? There is a way to protect your hard-earned assets. Call me, John Hubner, at 1-800-686-2237, extension 129.
Many experts are predicting that food prices will surge this year due to the severe drought in California. 30dayfoodsupply.com has pre-purchased a large supply of ingredients so we can continue to sell our 30-day food supply for only $99, and there's no limit to the number of boxes you can purchase. Our vegetarian meals are naturally high in fiber, carbs, and protein, and they're packed with oxygen absorbers in Mylar bags. Oregon Trail Foods and 30dayfoodsupply.com keep prices low by buying directly from the producers in Oregon and then pass the savings on to you. Call 800-700-2184. And remember, only $10 ships your entire order to the lower 48. Visit the website 30dayfoodsupply.com or call 800-700-2184. That's 30dayfoodsupply.com at 800-700-2184. 800-700-2184 for 30dayfoodsupply.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendovite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years. Extendovite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendovite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendovite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822. Or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
So we're back. Norm Shealy's with us, Dr. Norman Shealy. You know, Dr. Shealy, we were talking about this Faradic device that I bought. What are your thoughts on that? Do you think there was, was it real attempts at working with the human body and finding out the relationship between electricity and the human body? Or was this an entry into quackery to deceive people and steal their money?
No, this was truly the earliest beginning of the use of electricity for healing. And in fact, these devices, and I have one or more of these old ones in a wooden box, actually came to the best early 20th century thing in a device called Electreat, Electreat. And that was the device that actually gave me the idea for producing modern TENS, or transcutaneous electrical nerve stimulation. Essentially, I kept going to the engineers and saying, make us a modern Electreat. Well, finally it got done. And but the old Electreat was better than any of the ones made by all the major manufacturers until the late 1900s, when I discovered that the Electreat actually put out human DNA frequency, 52 to 78 billion cycles per second. None of the other TENS did that until I came along and produced a modern one that actually did put out those frequencies.
I was thinking, as you mentioned the Electreat, I looked it up on the internet, and I've got some images of this. And it reminds me of something that barbers used to use. Now, I'm thinking that this was probably something from the 1920s, maybe the 1910s, all the way through the 30s. I don't know for sure, but they had this handheld device, and it produced an electric current that was kind of like a static discharge, but they would wave it. After you got your haircut, they would hold this electromagnetic device that would produce a blue kind of an arc, kind of like maybe sort of like a cattle prod. But cattle prod is, would absolutely shock you. This device produced a very mild tingling, very, very mild. And I had this thing in my hand probably in the 50s and 60s. And the barber would hold it in his hand and then rub his fingers through his customer's hair and electrically stimulate the scalp. And the thought was that it could help generate or regenerate or stimulate hair growth. So if a person was tending to be losing his or her hair, you have this device and stimulate the scalp for the regrowth of hair. Have you heard of that, Dr. Shealy?
Oh, yes. And in fact, many hairdressers still use a high voltage stimulator, for women's hair especially. And that evolved, if you will, from the Electreat into the violet ray. The violet ray is actually a Tesla coil. It was created by Tesla himself. And it's healing.
I'm looking at this violet ray. I think this is it, Dr. Shealy. I think this is the device that I'm talking about. And the color of the arc was a violet colored arc.
Exactly.
And it had a, I don't know if the term is correct, but a vibrating kind of a motor. So you could adjust this wheel that would adjust the spacing in the motor mechanism to cause this violet arc. But that's a bluish, violet arc. That's it. So do you think it actually works and grows or stimulates hair growth?
Yes.
Is that what you're saying? Wow. Fabulous. Interesting. So I guess we just learned today, class, that some of this quackery was not quackery. I'm Shealy, and I'll be right back. And I'm going to ask him about his obituary. Yeah, he already had it. We'll be right back. By now, you know that USAPrepares.com is your source for water filtration systems. Here at the farm, we use our water filtration system for drinking, cooking, and for our cats and dogs. Which brand are we using? Well, that would be the ProPure system because it filters out pathogens, microbes, chlorine, and fluoride. Multiple sources indicate that fluoride is responsible for lowering our IQs by 5%. Now, how many of you would like to sign up for a lower IQ? USAPrepares.com offers ProPure water filtration systems and accessories at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate. We buy them by the pallet loads and pass the savings on to you. And if you're outside of Missouri, there's no sales tax. And if this appeals to you, visit USAPrepares.com. That's USAPrepares.com. You can order online, and we have the ProPure water filtration systems in stock, ready to ship. USAPrepares.com. ProPure water filtration systems at the same price as everyone else, except we offer an instant rebate.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP, electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her banks simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as one business day. And they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
Don't complain about your cable bill going up and up and up. Do something about it. Grab a pencil and jot down this special number, 1-855-905-MY-TV. The more cable TV rates go up, the better digital satellite TV looks. Say goodbye to the cable guy and get more of your favorite channels in 100% digital quality for less money. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. Sign up for packages starting as low as $19.99, and there's no equipment to buy. You get free HD TV upgrade, a free DVR upgrade, and free professional installation. You control what you watch when you watch it. Record your favorite shows. Pause and rewind live TV. Even skip the commercials. Watch local channels too. At just $19.99, what are you waiting for? Pull out your major credit or debit card. Call 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV. Say goodbye to the cable guy. Cut costs and get more. 1-855-905-MY-TV. 1-855-905-MY-TV.
The human body is extraordinary, despite all the stress we inflict upon it. Thousands of people across the country use an extremely effective product to help their body stay balanced. It's Heart and Body Extract, an all-natural herbal formula designed to help maintain healthy blood pressure, clean arteries, promote good circulation, and balance cholesterol. Heart and Body Extract, along with good nutrition and exercise, can give you a life free from pain, sickness, and fear. Recapture your youthful vitality and experience your body healing itself with the aid of Heart and Body Extract. Learn more and read scores of testimonials from satisfied customers at heartandbody.com. Heart and Body Extracts offers a lifetime guarantee with no price increase in over 14 years. For free info, call 866-295-5305 now. That's 866-295-5305 or heartandbody.com. Distributor inquiries welcome. 866-295-5305.
Dr. Shealy's with us, normshealy.com. And Dr. Shealy, I was telling our engineer today, John Harmon, about some of the cool stuff that you've done, and you didn't always take direction very well, and as a result of your not taking direction very well, many years ago in the 1960s, your obituary was published. Can you share that story with us, please?
Yes, the research going on at the Massachusetts General Hospital in the Department of Neurosurgery was truly barbarian, and that's being kind. I mean, they were doing things like isolating the carotid artery, the artery to the brain, and injecting into it nitrogen mustard at 108 degrees. The brain doesn't like 108 degrees, let alone nitrogen mustard. That's just one of many such projects that were going on. So I went to the bishop of the Episcopal Church because I was Episcopalian, and he went to the Board of Trustees and stopped eventually 30 million a year, $3 million a year, but that's a lot of money back in 1961. At any rate, I was then invited to be seen by the chief of psychiatry because I must be crazy to criticize this guy. And to make a long story short, I'm the only neurosurgeon in history who was ever declared legally sane. And a week later, my obituary appeared in the Boston Globe. Did I send you that?
No, I don't think I have a copy of that.
Well, if you'd like to publish it, I can send it to you.
That'd be great. Why don't we post that?
I've still got a copy of it. So I've outlived my obituary now since it was 1960, late 60 when the obituary appeared.
I'm so glad that you outlived your obituary, Dr. Shealy. I really am. I'm serious.
Yeah, Mark Twain and I.
Didn't he say something about claims about his death are greatly exaggerated?
Exactly.
Something like that.
Yeah, I called the funeral home, which was listed as having my body, and said, "Hey, I understand you got my body over there. I'd like it back."
So, would you consider that a threat? I mean, was that a veiled threat?
Oh yeah, unequivocal. Yeah. No question about it.
Dr. Shealy, I was chatting with a woman here at our farmhouse. She was a guest over the weekend. And we're talking about, some of the medications. She was telling me some of these medications she's on. And one of them was acid reflux. And I said, well, I'd like to mention that to Dr. Shealy and see what he thinks about acid reflux, the need for it, and maybe the complications with taking that medication. What are your thoughts on acid reflux, Dr. Shealy? It seems like a lot of people have digestive problems.
It's very common, and it's part of stress illness. And once you've got it, it's difficult to control. It can be helped. The only really good natural approach is limonene, Limonene. It's an extract of orange peel, and it comes in these rather large, black-looking capsules, and you could take one of those 3 times a day, and that can help. Mm-hmm. Of course, avoiding some of your favorite hot season foods can help. Mm-hmm. Raising the head of your bed at night can help. But the most important thing is controlling stress.
Well, what about, is this a physical thing as well? Here's what I'm saying. So we go out and eat at McDonald's, for breakfast. And then we slam down a hot dog and a Coke for lunch, maybe 2 hot dogs and a Coke. And then for dinner, we slam down, we go to another fast food joint, and we have, the double patty meat-like substance that they put between the bun, sides of the bun. You have one of those with cheese, or it looks like cheese. And if we do that multiple times a week, doesn't that destroy the natural digestive process to the point where we can't digest our foods, and it appears that we need some medication because our digestive system's not working right, so we mask the symptoms?
Well, of course. I mean, let's face it. Interestingly, everything affects everything, and everything affects the natural flora in your intestinal tract. Most people may not realize that 90% of all the cells in their body are bacteria living in the intestines. Mm-hmm. And those bacteria are responsible essentially for regulating our entire metabolism. The bacteria in mainly your colon are totally responsible for how healthy you are. Now, eating junk food destroys those bacteria, among other things. There are lots of things. Antibiotics destroy those bacteria. Stress upsets those bacteria. So, you have to live a reasonable, prepared life. It's that same thing that's the whole purpose of this program, that
right.
Keeping yourself organized and prepared so that you can avoid as many problems as possible.
Dr. Shealy, you travel a lot, and you've decided to travel less because of the radiation in the air and Fukushima and rebreathing breathing the air that's been circulated in those airplanes at altitude. But when you traveled a lot, did you have observations about the health of people in different countries? Was there something that was noticeable to you that, wow, we should probably do whatever they do because they look healthy, and figure out what that is? Or, what, we absolutely should not do what they're doing because they really appear to be unhealthy. When I say they, I mean, the general population of other countries. And which countries would they be?
Oh, my. Well, the whole world is unbalanced at this point, so it's hard to say. Obviously, the third world countries have many more problems because of poverty and inadequate sanitation. I mean, remember, in this country, until just about 100 years ago, the most common cause of death was infection in children, babies, and young people. And the biggest thing that improved health in this country in hundreds of years was actually sanitation, adequate disposals of sewage, adequate protein, and pasteurization of milk. And of course, ultimately, even though it has its disadvantages, there was chlorination of water. And unfortunately, we do need to provide drinking water for cities that's chlorinated, because otherwise it could have lots of bacteria in it. When we live on a farm like you and I do, even then, I still check my water at least every 2 or 3 years to be sure that some pollutant hasn't come in from nearby and no bacteria have crept in.
Dr. Shealy, some well drillers and well maintenance people, these are people whom I trust. They've been and are instructors here at USA Prepares. We have a CEO of a well drilling company. He'll talk about the aquifers and, what happens at different, depths and, where the pollution is. And for example, the water up down to, 450 feet under Springfield, Missouri is polluted. It's toxic. They had to go to the aquifer below that, one further down, at 600 feet or 650 feet to have, safer drinking water. And we've talked about shocking the wells where you can take, chlorine, unscented chlorine, not, plain chlorine bleach, without the additives, just, chlorine bleach, and pouring, let's say a gallon down the well, and let it disinfect or kill off the bacteria, but make sure that, you don't want to drink that. So you want to let it set for hours and hours and hours and make sure you don't drink it. But, it will become quite dilute. But because even our wells become, breeding grounds for bacteria. So yeah, it is a problem. It really is. And, for those of us who can, I suggest they have a water filtration system, one with a carbon block filter. And I guess you agree with that too, don't you, Dr. Shealy?
Of course. Absolutely. All the way Big Blue.
Mm-hmm. I have a note. I wanted to ask several questions, and one of the burning questions I have for you today is: we have talked here on this broadcast about 7% iodine, which you can get at a farm supply or like a Tractor Supply type company. I'm not sure if Tractor Supply per se has it, but one of those kinds of companies that has vet type supplies for the farmer. And we talked about this 7% iodine solution. And I was wondering, with what's happening in Fukushima, and it's starting to make the news every once in a while again, from 3 years ago, what would happen, Dr. Shealy, if we took like a Q-tip and dipped into this 7% iodine solution and just painted our forearm, let's say, 3 inches long, the width of a Q-tip type swab with 7% iodine? Would that help protect us from radiation poisoning because of the transcutaneous absorption?
Yes, it is. It is absorbed through the skin. And so,
do you have a thought in mind as to? Do you have a thought in mind as to how much we should apply? I mean, do we paint with a broad brush or a narrow brush or just 1 square inch or?
Well, I'd be a little concerned at trying to get your total iodine that way. I mean, you could do it, and I don't know. Honestly, I'd have to sit down with a pen and paper to figure out of 7% how much to use, but your skin might get eventually irritated by putting it on every day. I prefer to take it orally.
Okay. And what do you prefer to take orally? What product?
The triple iodine formula.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's talk about that when we come back. Right after this few short commercials. Learn how to dig up bugs, worms, and raise crickets for food. Do you prefer to eat them dried and crunchy or while still alive? Well, you won't have to if you can defend your food supply from predators. You may want to get an AR-15 kit from guns80.com and build your own AR-15 rifle from a kit. If you can legally own a rifle, you can purchase this AR-15 kit. If you're handy, you can complete the rifle in about an hour. The kit comes with all the parts you're going to need to build your rifle, but you'll need a drill press. And survivalists need one anyway. The guns80.com team purchased the same used floor-standing drill press that I have for $100. You can too. And when you're finished, you'll have a paperwork-free AR-15 rifle, a drill press, drill bits, and the knowledge to maintain your AR-15 rifle, all for less than you expect. So if you want a paperwork-free AR-15 parts kit like mine, visit guns80.com, guns80.com, and let the unprepared have our share of the bugs.
For over 5 years, you've been hearing about the Berkey guy, so you may know a few things about him. For example, you are well aware of the superior quality and effectiveness of Berkey water filters and accessories. But did you know the Berkeys have had independent lab tests done to prove just how effective they are? It's true, and he can email you the test results. Just visit goberkey.com. You may also know that the Berkey guy has helped tens of thousands of people get better prepared. Now here's something you may not know. GoBerkey.com has amazing specials and deals all the time on a wide variety of survival and preparedness products, most ready to ship same day. Visit the Berkey guy at goberkey.com and be sure to click the red Products on Sale Now button. You can always call toll-free 877-886-3653. Again, that's 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com, home of the Berkey guy.
Are you suffering from EP? The symptoms include fraudulent charges to your credit card. Your subway card says it's empty, but you bought it yesterday. Someone's been in your hotel room, but the desk clerk says they only show you entering the room. These are signs of EP, electronic pickpocketing. Payment cards, transit cards, even hotel room keys use a radio chip, so you can just wave your card at the register, the turnstile, or your hotel room door. But what's convenient for you is also convenient for thieves, waving scanners to electronically pickpocket you without even touching you. The good news is there's a cure. ID Stronghold has created leather wallets and clutches that have built-in EP protection. Layers of shielding material cleverly concealed in a beautiful leather wallet that stops the symptoms of EP. Go to idstronghold.com now and get the cure. idstronghold.com. Warning, ID Stronghold wallets could lead to feelings of safety and security, comfort in crowds, and euphoria. If you experience these emotions, immediately inform your friends and family about idstronghold.com so they can feel better too.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
Hey neighbor, what are you doing digging? You had a heart attack last year.
Oh, I know. I was told no more hard labor.
Then why are you digging?
Well, I've been taking Extendovite. It's been approved to help my heart.
Extendovite? Is that a new drug?
No, not a drug. It's more like an herbal combination made from garlic and cayenne.
Herbal? How can that help?
Well, actually, we've taken herbs for thousands of years, and Extendovite is doing the job for me.
Does your doctor know about Extendovite?
Yeah, my doctor knows, and he said it seems to be working for you, so don't stop taking it. I feel great taking Extendovite. I don't want to stop.
To order, call 1-877-928-8822. That's 1-877-928-8822, or visit our website at heartdrop.com.
Extend your life with Extendovite.
You pick up the receiver with your heart racing and sweat dripping from your forehead. You finally muster the courage to dial the number to call into your favorite talk radio show. It rings once, twice, and then...
Hello, it's GCN. What's your name and the state you're calling from?
Surprised you got through, you squeak out.
Jason from Minnesota.
Please hold.
As you patiently wait for your turn, you begin to daydream about being a famous talk radio host and what it would be like to have your own show.
Jason from Minnesota, you're up.
Millions of loyal listeners worldwide waiting to call and talk to you.
Caller, are you there?
Cheering crowds surround you, calling out your name.
Jason, Jason,
Going once, twice. Okay, we gotta move on to the next caller.
You blew it.
Huh? Wait, no!
Interact with the host you're listening to right now, online at GCNlive.com. Click on the community link. Engage with other listeners. Ask questions. Start debates. Don't agree with the host? Let them know. Be a part of the community at GCNlive.com.
Dr. Shealy is with us. NormShealy.com. N-O-R-M. Shealy. Norm as in Norman. Shealy. SHEALY.com. And if you'd like to get his free newsletter, the same one that I get, that'll prompt you to better health, it's right on the website. And he does not share the mailing list. It's not sold. It's just for him to email you multiple times per week. Great advice. Same advice that I take. Dr. Shealy, we were talking about iodine orally. What is your preferred method to prevent the ill effects of radiation from Fukushima, Chernobyl, 3 Mile Island, and the nuclear reactors that are all over the world?
It's 12.5, 12.5 milligrams of a mixture of potassium iodine and iodide. It can be found either in Swanson's triple iodine formula, 1 capsule a day, or in iodoral, I-O-D-O-R-A-L. Now, last year we started having trouble for many, many months getting iodoral, so we switched to Swanson's triple iodine formula. That's what I've been taking. It works well.
Okay. Awesome. And I was thinking, Dr. Shealy, of all the people I know and I have met, not one person has come up to me and said, you know what, I'm smarter than I've ever been. My memory's better than it's ever been. Pretty much it's the opposite. People saying, you know, I can't remember anything. That being the case for most people who are having memory problems, is there a food that you recommend that we eat, or a supplement, or both, that will help people remember?
Actually, that's probably the single food that is useful is lecithin. lecithin, lecithin granules, and I take 2 heaping tablespoons once a day, but for people who have more trouble, they might take it twice a day. It provides acetylcholine, or the making for acetylcholine, which is the neurochemical responsible for memory.
Okay, so lecithin, did you say 2 tablespoons per day?
2 heaping tablespoons twice a day.
Okay, 2 heaping tablespoons, 2x. Okay, I'll do that. And Dr. Shealy, I had some guests at the farm on Monday, as I mentioned before, and to their surprise, I pulled out the same meter that you have, the tri-field meter, and I said, well, let's look around the kitchen, let's see what happens. I put this meter up to the phone, pegged the needle. Put the meter up to the computer, pegged the needle. Came up against the microwave oven, which we use as a range hood to take the food cooking vapors and send them outside. So we use it as a range hood and a fan and so forth. And just that item's having a clock, not using it, motor off, peg the needle. And so I went over toward the refrigerator, pegged the needle. Okay. What I'm saying is a lot of electromagnetic radiation, the oven with its computer clock, pegged the needle. So I found a used oven, a vintage oven. I'm going to replace a relatively new oven with a vintage oven that does not have that computer clock. I'm going to put an on-off switch to shut off the clock on the range hood, if you will. I can't do much about the refrigerator at this point. I'm going to isolate where the problem is and try to seal off that electromagnetic radiation. But what I'm saying is our kitchens are probably the epicenter of electromagnetic radiation for most homes. I think that's the case. You think that's possible?
Oh, absolutely. The refrigerator itself is one of the greatest generators. If you go near the refrigerator when it is, running, it's just absolutely blasting you with electromagnetic energy.
And the funny thing is, Dr. Shealy, well, maybe not the funny thing, but maybe the odd thing is the refrigerator's a steel box,
Mm-hmm.
and you would think, nah, it can't be. No, it is terrible. So very quickly, Dr. Shealy, next few seconds, did you do what I did? Did you go around your house with your tri-field meter and say, oh man, this has to go. Pretty much there's nothing left.
I've been doing that for 30 years. Because I'm that much older than you.
Well, you're a couple weeks older than I am, right?
Have a good
Hey, Dr. Shealy, thanks so much for being with us today and sharing your medical expertise. By the way, class, Hay House Radio, Dr. Shealy will be on starting at 12 o'clock, 1 hour and 3 minutes from now, if you have more medical questions. Above all, honesty and integrity. What happens next is up to you. Thanks so much, Dr. Shealy.
Yuvia needed financing to grow her restaurant business, but her bank simply didn't understand.
I was frustrated.
Yuvia found On Deck Business Loans.
On Deck did it for me. I called on Saturday, and I had $50,000 in my account on Monday morning.
How about the terms?
Incredibly easy. It doesn't mess with your cash flow.
On Deck changed everything.
This company, On Deck, is going to be there for me.
Was it a good move?
I'm looking to increase sales probably 30%.
Been in business for at least a year with $100,000 plus in revenue? On Deck can get you $5,000 to $250,000 in as little as 1 business day. And they're A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau.
On Deck has opened up so many doors for me now. Truly, the sky is the limit. I'm excited.
Apply now at OnDeckLending.com or call 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430. 800-326-5430.
Loan subject to lender approval.
We all know that Berkey Water Purification Systems are the most trusted name in water filtration. As an authorized Berkey dealer for over 6 years and serving thousands of satisfied customers, the Berkey Guy offers amazing specials for Berkey water filtration systems. The Berkey Light systems include a set of self-sterilizing and recleanable black purification elements that purify water by removing chlorine, pathogenic bacteria, cysts, and parasites to non-detectable levels and remove harmful chemicals such as herbicides and pesticides. Order the Berkey Light systems system today, complete with 2 Black Berkey elements for only $231, and the Berkey Guy will ship your order free of charge. With the purchase of a Berkey Light, the Berkey Guy is also offering a set of fluoride and arsenic filters for only $39.99. That's over 30% off the retail price. Call the Berkey Guy at 1-877-886-3653. That's 1-877-886-3653. Or order online at goberkey.com. That's goberkey.com today.